Hey everybody, what's going on? Your host AMF1534 here. Welcome back to Let's Play some more Drive the Car and Win the Money. So what we're doing right now is we're going into lap 50 through God knows what. Just whatever I have time for today, but we are moving along pretty well. We had some weird stuff happen in this game last time we were playing. See that little green square down there? Well, that car just decided he was going to do some weird stuff that I've never seen happen in this game before. Like, he's not stuck in the wall. He's just straight up not doing anything. He's like stuck in like this proverbial loop of not being able to move. But every time we drive by, he moves just a little bit. Like, I think he like goes forward and then backwards just a little bit. But you can drive your car straight through him and it won't even touch him. So we've got like some weird like sci-fi channel shit going on. But that's okay because we have a commanding lead in first. I don't really know where the second place guy is, but I know that we're far enough ahead of him to where we don't really have to worry about much. So we're having a gay old time right now. Oh, nope, there we go. Oh, see, yep, I'll give you guys a little preview, just in case you happen to be one of those people that didn't see this at a different time. There he is! He even straightened himself out mysteriously, but he is still not moving anywhere. Kind of almost makes me think that, like, the engine just like exploded or something, but it's still like remotely able to do something. I don't even know. I'm making up fake scenarios for this because I have absolutely no clue on what's going on with it. But yeah, it was kind of a weird day today. Like, my brother's birthday is in a little over an hour, so he'll be the magic 30. It's gonna be one of those types of things. It's gonna be such a weird feeling, like when I turn 30 and like I'm not in my 20s anymore, and then I have to make that pass to the 30s, where like all the shit starts getting real, where you actually have to start doing things with your life. Like when you're a teenager, you don't really have to do too much. Like you're still in high school, whatever, and you just don't really. Nobody was really expecting anything of you yet. And then when you get in your 20s, like, you're still young enough to where you can still, you know, fuck around and do whatever you want, and nobody really looks at you weird, because you're still, you know, they still label you as young enough. But as soon as you get to 30, man, that's where the shit hits the fan. They're like, alright, you need to start doing shit with your life, because you're 30 now, like, you're running out of time, man. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the 40-year-old living in his mom's basement. Then again, you don't really want to be the 30-year-old living in his mom's basement either, because that's just not a very good idea. At least, you know, be a 30-year-old living in your own basement of your own house. Not living on the top half because you're renting it out to somebody else because you can't pay the rent by your own lonesome. But the basement's the best house, or the best room in the house, so you took that one instead. But then when people come over, they're like, hey, this is your house? Why are you in the basement? Well, because I am. Don't worry about it! Don't worry about it! I would never want to live in a basement. Especially, like, during the summer it would get so fucking hot in there. And then during the winter it would be so fucking cold in there because there's no insulation. And, like, just the coldness, because coldness is a word, the coldness of everything would just, like, hang down there. And the heat would just sit down there. I know the heat rises and everything, but not when you're in the basement, it doesn't. It's just fucking hot all the time. Oh, yeah. Moving along quite nicely here already. Just trying to make sure that we can keep our lead as big as humanly possible. So, I had one of the weirdest conversations with Blake at work today. Blake's my roommate, for those of you that haven't really made that connection yet. My roommate that recently moved in with us here at the house, he is my coworker, Blake. He's awesome. So we were having one of the most awkward conversations that I think two people could have. And we were talking about what it would be like if the anime series Fullmetal Alchemist were to be turned into a porn, like into like a really weird like porn-based series somehow, where, you know, it'd be, instead of being Fullmetal Alchemist, it'd be like Full Girth Alchemist, or Full Bodied Alchemist, or Fullmetal Alchemist XXX, where, you know, where Edward and Winry are, you know, like, they're both able to do alchemy, because in this regular series, like, Winry can't do that, she's just a regular person, but they're both able to do alchemy, and so they're like, they're like transmuting other like body parts onto themselves. So like, you know, they're in the bedroom doing, you know, whatever, and you're like, oh, I made a transmutation circle on my bed. Let's go make horrifying taboos to the humankind out of ourselves. Yay! And so they both get into the bed. God, he's still driving into the wall, I guess. He's still caught in that proverbial loop of whatever. And then she's like, oh, Edward, I'm gonna transmute a bunch of vaginas onto my body. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna transmute like 30 dicks onto my body. Ah! And so then they just like go back and forth, like, you know, having crazy multi-orifice and, you know, penile extension sex everywhere. And it'd just be like super weird. But that's the conversation that we had today. We were definitely talking about that. He's just like, oh, here comes the extra long dick that I'm gonna have come out of nowhere. So here we go. Yeah. he does the. I know. I probably just, you know, totally raped your guys' ears with the clapping and the slapping of the desk. But that's what he does in the series. Like he doesn't have to transmutate thing, or he doesn't have to do alchemy with like with one of the circles. He can just like clap his hands together and do some crazy shit. And be like, oh, I'm dropping alchemic loads all over your extra magic, weird, reproductive organs of justice. Yeah! Boom! And that's what it would be. And she'd be like, oh, I'm having a homunculus baby. Well, this is getting out of hand very quickly. I need to stop talking about it. That's 2 straight episodes of this where I've been talking about very awkward sex-related things. As if you couldn't tell, it's on my mind lately. But yeah, it was, and the weirdest thing about it is that like neither of us were talking about anything remotely related to that at all, and then all of a sudden it just comes out of nowhere. Like, oh hey, what if they made that into like an anime porn series of some kind? Not saying that I would watch it, but you know, we could totally sell that idea, because I'm sure that there's some guy out there that makes that stuff that'd be like, that would probably fit into some sort of category that doesn't exist yet, of weird magic-based creation of extra dicks and vaginas onto people's bodies where they can have multiple orifice sex all at the same time. I'm sure there'd be somebody out there that would love that. And it would not be me. I would hate to be the guy. I would hate to find out, like, to be the parents that finds out that your son and or daughter, because there are girls that watch porn too. I don't want to hear a word from any women out there be like, no, I don't watch porn. That's just disgusting. It's degrading. Well, fuck that. You know you've watched it before. Don't even try to act like you're one of those people. Oh no, I've never even watched porn in my entire life. You all have. You all have. In one fashion or another. Don't even act the fool, okay? But yeah, I would hate to be the parent that, you know, walks into their son's room. I'm just gonna say son because that's more often to happen that way. They walk into their son's room and up on the old computer screen they've got, you know, crazy Fullmetal Alchemist XXX, you know, 30 dicks and 30 vaginas flapping around in the breeze in their transmutation circle of erotic pleasure. And they're just like, oh my god! And they just like slam the door. What? Jimmy? What the hell were you doing in there? What was that was on your screen? I was doing my homework. That was not homework! That was not homework! What the hell was that? I was watching porn, okay? Why were you watching that? I would have been less upset about you watching conventional human porn rather than watching whatever that abomination was. I'm sorry, you guys, I'm sorry. I had to know. I just had to know. Well, now you know, and you've ruined our lives forever. I hope you burn in hell. Because, you know, they would say that to their own son. Like, what are the people, what are my friends gonna think? What's everybody at the station gonna think when they find out about this? You don't have to tell them. Of course I have to tell them. My son's watching weird shit. Alright, because, you know, somewhere out there, it would happen that way. there are parents that are extremists like that, where, you know, they find out stuff like that, and then all of a sudden everybody in the world needs to know about it. Be like, oh, I gotta tell the neighbors, and I gotta just wait till your grandma finds out about this one. It's just gonna destroy her. Well, then don't tell her. It'll fucking kill her. Well, no, she has to know. She has to know about this because it's just wrong. I'm really glad that my parents never did that. Not saying that I ever got caught watching weird stuff like that, but I'm just glad that, like, you know, sometimes there are just situations where it doesn't need to spread out to the entire family, let alone the entire world. But it doesn't have to happen that way. Like, it doesn't. It just doesn't. Here we go. We are moving. I can't wait to find out. Well, actually, they're never really going to tell us. I mean, when we actually finish this race, it's just going to say that that guy is still currently running, as it says. Oh, almost threw up my mouth a little bit. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, dude, that was such an awkward blend of flavors. Oh my god, that was just hideous. So, I had chicken enchiladas for dinner, which was delicious, by the way. But right after I got done eating it, I noticed that we had like a jar, like down on the coffee table in the living room. We had a jar full of the cinnamon fire stick Jolly Ranchers in there, and so I decided to knock out a couple of those, and like meshing the two of those flavors together, you know, like sugary cinnamon along with, you know, kind of spicy enchiladas. I don't know, man. Just not quite the right blend of things to have going on. Probably wasn't a very smart idea. I would much rather have a blue raspberry one though, dude. Blue raspberry Jolly Ranchers are my jam. However, I don't have any. I don't really know, like, do they sell just like giant bags of like all the assorted flavors of Jolly Ranchers at the store? Do they just have that? Or do you have to like go to an actual candy store? 9-year-olds rob candy stores, Marv. Like, do you have to go all the way to do you have to go to like an actual place like that to get it? Because I don't even know. Like, I've never actually gone and bought Jolly Ranchers before. Like, the only time I ever eat them is like when I go to somebody's house, or I go to like a party or some place that just has that, and they're there. It's never really a thing where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to the store, I'm gonna buy a bag of Jolly Ranchers today. I just never do that. Never in my life would I do that. Oh, so I gotta tell you guys about this real quick before I run out of time. So I don't know whether you guys heard about it or not, but apparently there was this guy that got arrested for having sex. Well, it was for raping a girl, which you're like, oh well, you hear about that all the time. Well, what it was is this guy raped a, how would I classify it? He raped a special needs girl, or like a you know, learning impaired, I suppose. Sometimes, you know, a girl like that, she had like, she was some sort of like mentally challenged, not like Down syndrome necessarily. I didn't hear like every detail about it, but I heard the core stuff. But apparently he got arrested for raping one of those girls. And like the way that he brought it up was probably the funniest way, because like what he did was he fooled her into doing it by telling her that I think that he told her that her vagina was haunted, and that the only way to get rid of the ghosts was for him to have sex with her. And she believed it, because obviously, you know, the logic pattern there is just, it's not there. Completely, at least. And so, they did it. But just like, imagine that guy, first of all, being such a monstrous douche, be like, oh, I got an idea. Hey, Leah, so, I gotta tell you, I heard that your vagina is haunted. Haunted? How? How do I get rid of it? Well, here we go. So, the only way that you can get rid of the ghosts that are haunting your vagina is if you let me have sex with you, because my dick, it has a special power, and it can get rid of ghosts. And so if you let me have sex with you, then you'll get rid of all the ghosts, and you'll be good as new, and you'll be happy as a camper. And you're like, oh yay, okay. But yeah, and so then that happens, but it's like, hold on just a damn minute. Like, first of all, who could even like be sick enough in the mind sick in the mind, addicted to crime. Who can, like, actually have the gallstones to tell a special needs girl that kind of thing? Like, why would you do that? It's already bad enough that, you know, they're learning impaired. Like, you don't need to sit there and ruin their lives by doing that. Like, that'd be like the worst thing you could ever do to a person. Like, imagine the judge, like, dealing with that case in the court. Be like, you sick son of a bitch. Was she hot? No, that's terrible. But I'd be like, you sick son of a bitch. Like, you actually did that. And you had no conscience about it at that time. You're just like, you know what? I'm going to send you to jail, and I'm going to permit at least 3 inmates to rape you in the ass while you're there. I'm going to let it happen. I'm just going to allow it to happen because you, my friend, you deserve it. You deserve to have the biggest of the inmate dicks violating you in the ass, same way that you did to her. Dun 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 dun. Would have been even worse if it was like a little boy, just because that's like the whole thing is bad. Like, I'm not saying it. Well, okay, it's equally as bad, but the whole thing is just it's terrible all the way up the wall. But just imagine that whole thing. Whatever. It's a fucking shitstorm is what it is. Oh my God, we're in 2nd place. My lead wasn't as big as I thought it was. Oh boy. They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. Alright, my friends, well, we are charged with an interesting task when we come back on the next episode of Let's Play Gran Turismo 2. We have lost the lead, but now that we have a fresh set of tires, we are going to take that lead back and hopefully not give it up like a slut. So, what's going to happen? That's going to happen. This is your host, AMF1534, saying thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.